Texas. They say everything's bigger here, and they're right. We've got big cars, big hearts, and a big sky. This is big sky country. Yeah, we know that's what Montana calls itself, big sky country. We'd just like to point out that Montana is 147,000 odd miles big. Texas, well, we're 268,500 miles huge. Who's got the bigger sky now, Montana? Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast. Yeehaw.
Welcome back to another episode.
Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast. It's a riot.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop.
What a segue there.
Huh?
That's a nice segue.
Huh? Keeping it topical. Without crossing the line.
Yeah.
We straddle that.
Because we know Charlie never crosses any lines.
I don't.
Never.
You are.
Well, they never hear it. The listeners never heard it.
You only color inside the line.
Let's not bring color into this. It's not the right climate.
Crayola.
What does Crayola even mean?
You can't hear me shaking my head.
I can see it.
I'm shaking my head.
I don't know what Crayola means.
Okay.
Seriously?
Next
Crayola?
Next topic.
Box of 64?
Yeah, I know it. I don't know.
Here's your
does the
box of
word
64.
mean?
Now go in the corner and color.
No, I know
What
what
does the
Crayola
word
means.
mean?
Well, he was saying, what does it mean?
I don't know.
Is it an acronym?
Okay, Google. What does Crayola mean?
The word Crayola was originally thought up by Alice Binney. Binney, a one-time school teacher, combined the French word cray, meaning chalk, with ola, shortened from the French word oléagineux, meaning oily.
Oily chalk.
What I got out of that
chalk.
more is that cray means chalk. So he's so chalk. Huh? That must be what it sounds like to all the French people out there.
Oily chalk.
Yeah.
Oily chalk.
That's
Shout
what I got
out
out
to
of it.
Billy.
Yay.
Crayola.
Oily chalk.
I didn't realize it was like French derivative.
You didn't realize that Crayola was French derivative?
No.
I think it's Native American.
I honestly never thought about what that word came from.
Really?
It's just I thought it was a company brand name like Google.
It is, but all names come from somewhere. Google
That's
means
true.
something. Google's that really long
Ask Google what
number.
Google means.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on.
Come on.
Hold on.
When was the first time you Googled what Google?
I knew.
I never have.
Oh, you haven't?
I knew what
can't wait.
Google meant. I remember when they named themselves, and
So
it was the headlines. They were something about there's a company, there's a search engine who's named themselves after their really long number,
Okay.
and that was like a passing, two small paragraph kind of thing. No one could have guessed. Hey, okay, Google. What does Google mean? It says, what can I help for you? Oh, now it's whatever I'm saying, it's typing. Stop it. Stop following me.
I'm hearing like
These came back from a search.
silence.
Thanks. This is, okay, Google. Define Google.
There you go.
Here's the definition of Google. Search for information about someone or something on the internet using the search engine Google.
That seems self-serving.
Wow.
That seems kind of self-serving.
Maybe we need to look at the third or fourth definition.
It only gave me one.
Oh.
Okay, let go of the corporate thing.
No more corporate.
Let it go. Put down the phone.
Put down the phone.
So did y'all see the space launch?
I did. I was so happy it didn't blow up.
Yeah. It's exciting.
You were predicting that.
I thought
You
I
were?
would not have.
Yeah, he was.
Did you? They ran
So
the
morbid.
simulations right before it, and the rocket blew up in the simulation.
Well, I think they were worried about the weather.
I think they were worried about more than that,
Well, yeah.
blowing up. But they didn't. They're up there, floating above our heads right now.
It's
Yeah.
the first time in, I think, 7 years that we've sent
11
Wow.
11 years.
Yeah, because normally we just use.
Well,
Russia,
we didn't.
We didn't.
Oh, it was SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Yeah,
SpaceX.
First commercial rocket
Yeah.
launch.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you planning your trip to Mars?
I'm not. I've already been there.
Oh.
It's not all that. It's not all that.
Are you going to drive there, though? Are you going to blast off?
Am I
In
going
your
to
commercial? I mean, I think that's where it's going.
Oh, it's definitely going there. We'll have, I mean, I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, but we'll have people going up into space, probably doing spacey things.
Mm-hmm.
And the military's got a space force.
We do.
Yes.
Huh?
It's pretty
You
awesome.
can re-up for the benefits.
Hey, they had the journalism awards, journalism with giant quotes around it, for the military this year.
Yes.
But did you see that the fella that took first place for all the Department of Defense for graphic design was with the Space Force?
Wow.
Yeah, their first award.
How
so
cool was that?
Good for
so I'm
them.
gonna hit the button. Nope. Yay! Space Force.
We applaud
Space
you.
Force and kind of Space Force. Yeah. But no, he was really good. His posters. It was that whole 1940s, 50s travel poster thing.
Yeah.
But then with space as recruiting.
The final frontier.
I can't imagine they're going to have a problem recruiting because who wouldn't want to join the Space Force?
I
'Cause
want to join
first
the
off,
space band.
It sounds cool. And second, I'm pretty sure people are convinced they're not going to actually have to do anything.
Yeah, all these little
Oh.
kids that wanted to be Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah,
right?
astronauts. I wanted to be an astronaut
Come
at one
on.
point.
Mhm.
Like that's the dream.
I think everybody did.
Yeah, it's like astronauts, firefighters.
I remember as a kid, I think I wrote Jimmy Carter.
Unless you're Jethro Bodine and want
That's
to be a
true.
double knot spy.
I wrote Jimmy Carter a letter as a little kid asking about space or something.
Oh,
And I just got a form letter back. Thank you for writing the
Oh,
president.
yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
Bummer.
the
I
blanket.
know. They always talk about him being so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I know different.
What
Mr.
did it
Form
have? The
letter.
signature that was like pre?
No, not even
No,
that.
not even a
Not even
signature
that. Just a
for little
form letter.
Charlie. Oh, they did you dirty.
Cheer
I
up,
did.
Charlie.
I did.
It's all good.
Yep.
And how has that affected your life now?
I always vote Republican.
Touche.
You never know. A butterfly flaps his wings,
Yeah.
and then a peanut farmer is elected president. You know, there's a lot of people that get very upset about the presidents that we have, one way or the
Oh
other.
yes.
Right.
And what I look back on, whether it's our current president or the one before him, it really does demonstrate anybody can be president. Little Timmy or Jane or whoever, you got a shot at this. It should be a positive thing. Anybody
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah, anybody with a ton of money.
Yeah.
Or friends that have a ton
Yeah,
of money.
friends
Got a
that
point.
have a ton of just make
I
the
mean,
right
come on.
friends.
And that
Come on.
network though.
That's true.
Rubbing elbows is a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're no
I didn't
longer
even make that connection. Yeah.
yeah, no longer shaking hands, only elbow taps now.
Well, did you see the picture of the president not shaking hands the other day?
No.
It was fantastic.
Why?
It was he was either getting on or off the helicopter, Air Force chopper or whatever it's called. And there's a Air Force fella sticking his hands out, and Donald Trump is on his toes with that, "Whoa!" No way. And I was like, yeah, they're just setting the example. We're not supposed to be doing that. I found that very amusing. Very amusing and educational because it's setting the good standard for people. So
No,
you should
I
do
get
this.
that. But like, bought the wife a car recently,
Mhm.
right?
Mm,
2 weeks ago now.
yeah.
That salesman's jumping through the roof, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he shook my hand, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. It's good, you know.
Mhm.
It's all, So you know, if I was a brand new dad and my wife just delivered, I'd be shaking people on their hands, patting them on the back,
Sure.
doing whatever. There'd be hugs, man.
Well,
Yeah.
In Europe, they go around kissing everybody.
Yeah. I have hugged several people since the social distancing has been
Have you?
enforced. Yeah, just when I really felt like it.
And you're
Sometimes
on
you
the
just
edge.
need a hug.
You're on the edge.
Yeah. I don't want that Article 15, though.
The hugging Article 15,
Oh, God.
inappropriate hugging.
Well, the biggest thing is if we don't wear a mask.
So
We'll get
you can
one.
wear a mask and hug?
No, we're not supposed to hug. You're not even supposed to.
Well, in the military,
Handshake.
in general, you don't go
Yeah,
around
I know.
hugging people.
Public display of affection.
Well, I'll hug my friends. When I was in Germany, one of my good friends went to the promotion board.
Yeah, but is it a hug or is it one of those lean in kind of chest bump things?
No, we hugged.
Okay,
'Cause I was excited
that's
for her,
typical,
and I hugged her.
sport team hug.
Yeah.
Is this before or after the board?
It was after the board when
Nice.
she got it.
Oh, well, she did. Well, there you go. See, so it was
Yeah,
celebratory.
it was.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
wasn't just a random hug.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just seeing you now. And it was like, there was a reason for it.
It's a big deal.
I
Yeah.
don't have a problem. I can tell you right now, I don't have a problem shaking somebody's hand or what physical contact, doing what we would consider what was normal behavior.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to it, in real life, there's that pause
Yep.
in my brain.
Yeah, you think about it.
Yeah. Which didn't happen ever before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. And speaking of pauses,
Yes.
military movement's been on a pause for quite a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stress there.
Yep. We have a special guest that's going to explain the future of military moves here at Fort Hood and beyond. So this is really cool. If you're wanting to get the heck out of Dodge or wanting to get the heck into Dodge,
Right.
we've got your hookup.
Tell
We've
me
got your hookup.
more.
Well, we will right after these important messages. So stay tuned.
If you've got problems and feel like you just can't get answers, there's a place for you to turn. The Inspector General's Hotline. They take your issues seriously. If you're at the end of your rope and need someone to reach out to, grab a pen and take down this number. 254-287-7209. That's 254-287-7209. The Fort Hood office of the Inspector General. They inspect generals, so you don't have to.
Got a problem? Write your congressman. Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
So how about that local sports team? Oh, wait.
You mean the ones that aren't playing?
Well, I just heard something about baseball getting something with things.
What?
They got some 140 game season. How many games
Yeah,
are there?
no, that's not going to happen.
100, but
It's normally 162.
yeah, 140 game season with
They're going to play till December.
Yeah, hey, hockey's trying to get on it and play into.
Oh, come on.
They're scrambling for the cash. Is what it's a cash scramble.
Yeah.
It's a cash scramble.
Well, the first couple of months they're going to be playing in front of nobody.
I know, and that's nuts. If there was,
Did you watch the Korean baseball on ESPN?
I've never watched.
They broadcast
Korean
the
baseball.
Korean Baseball League. Sports fans are so starved that ESPN is broadcasting live Korean League baseball games because they're playing in front of no fans.
And this game brought to you by Yosim Kimchi.
Yeah, and they're showing updates. I get up around 5, turn on the tube, and occasionally I have it on Sports Center. And they're showing highlights of this over the night, midnight when it was live here in the States, Korean Baseball League.
I thought it was bad enough when they started having professional sporting people play video games
Yeah,
on the internet. Did you hear about the one race car driver that like rage quit in the he was doing so bad he just quit?
yeah.
And there was like racial slurs going on.
Yeah,
and
and he
stuff,
lost
but
his sponsorship. He lost his job
you were
playing a video game.
playing a video game.
It's a different set of skills.
They did it
between
with,
the game and the
It is
car.
crazy.
They did it with tennis too. They had him playing some tennis video game.
Very strange.
What they should have had it had it do is the professionals play the gamers. That would have been kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Who's getting schooled now? Maruna Mavakavich. I don't know any. Kevin Federer. I don't know anybody's name.
It's Roger Federer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo, but he's not a sports guy.
No, I think you're thinking Kevin Federline.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, going old school with Britney Spears.
Yeah.
What sport does she play?
Well, he was a dancer, right?
He was.
That's
He was.
athletic.
Dancing is
That's
very
athletic.
very athletic.
Yeah.
Even though I have no idea who we're talking about.
Good.
But so how about that local sports team?
Yeah.
We do have something local though. We have a new general order.
Ooh. I'll have some fries with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like that supersized?
Yeah, well-
Supersized means you can go past the 40-mile radius, which you can't. 40 miles for you.
Not yet.
No Austin for you.
No Dallas.
No Dallas. But there's nothing there anyway. You've been there. You've seen it. Nothing's new.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Plus, they were hot spots.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still hot spots?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
maybe that's why we got a 40-mile,
Absolutely.
Radius.
But the general order does lift the curfew.
Ooh.
So feel free to do whatever you are doing at night again.
That's a good thing.
Or maybe not.
I was going to say, good decision-making skills.
See those blotter reports.
Mom always said nothing good happened after midnight, right?
Yeah. And you can be in groups of 15 people or more now.
Party.
I know, but you still got to stay far apart.
Socially distanced.
Socially distanced. But really, weren't we all socially distanced anyway?
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
But other changes as well.
Yes.
Like movement. And I don't mean the high fiber kind.
Ooh.
I mean getting out of Dodge, going to a new duty station. In the military, we like to call that PCS, which stands for
Permanent Change of Station.
That's right. I'm glad you said that because I just occurred to me I had no idea what that meant.
And joining us today to talk about movement is Major Angela Chipman. She is the director of the 3 Corps Strength Management Branch.
Yes.
And she is Army Strong.
I am Army Strong, and I really hope this summer kind of allows people to get a bit more freedom of maneuver, because I know everyone's feeling pretty pent up and wanting to just kind of escape a little bit. So
now the backstory on all this was May 22nd, the Secretary of Defense signed a memo that said, hey, you remember that 30 June? We're going to stop movement all the way to 30 June. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm rescinding that. And then he left it up to local commands and commanders to figure it out for themselves, right?
Yes.
And you work in a place that figures that stuff out, because that's where the orders come from, right?
We do. And I'm glad that you brought that up. It's opened it up to where, it's not a defined date anymore. It's very much conditions dependent,
Right.
Which in some locations makes it an indefinite scenario, which is not as great as I would like it to be.
Right.
But it does kind of accept that PCS needs to happen, and that the Army needs to continue working on operational readiness. And so the flexibility for us to make those decisions at the lower level has been given.
Right.
And that got published over the weekend, which is good, because now it's the first GO or SES in someone's chain of command.
That's General Officer and Senior Executive Service.
Yes, absolutely. The civilian
A lot of civilians
employees.
listen to this show. You got to hook them up.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So they still require ETPs. So as an example, I submitted
Exception to policy.
Yes, I submitted
Dave.
a bunch today.
Rocking the acronyms.
Yes, that's because I speak in acronyms.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so-
you're
it's
the
so
you're in the
hard.
Army.
Oh, yeah.
You're the man,
And
woman.
so I reached out, General Eflont signing them,
Yeah.
and we're going to send them to the commanding general of whatever organizational structure that those soldiers belong to, and that person will be able to make the decision right there on site and line through it, and that will serve as the exception to policy to allow someone to move. And so there's some opening up and some more flexibility, but we're still constrained by needing an exception to policy to make that happen, unless you're going to your professional military education.
Right.
That is the one movement that is no longer restricted to an ETP. So we do have some opening up of
Okay.
restrictions.
Okay.
I have a question. Yes, me. In the
Yeah,
corner.
go.
So when you say it's condition dependent,
Yes.
does that mean that condition at point A, we'll say that is Fort Hood, and condition at point B, we'll say that is Fort Rucker, have to be equal?
No. What it kind of relates to is that senior mission commander at whatever installation. So say you are in New York, and New York is a hotbed, and you know you're having problems with soldiers on installation because you've made it where they can go out and meet with 15 people or more, and suddenly there's a spike. You know, the chances of someone leaving now have increased in terms of having COVID.
Sure.
And so you can have a vote in saying that you don't want that person to go until they are either quarantined or the risk has lessened.
Okay.
On the flip side of that, say we're receiving someone at Fort Hood from one of those hotspots. Are the conditions such that we're willing to accept the risk? Do we have a mitigation? And so right now, Fort Hood has restrictions on everyone Oconus at 5 states that are all hotbeds: California, Washington State, New York as an example, and then specific cities, Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia. If we have people coming from those places, then a 14-day quarantine is mandatory.
All right.
And so we're taking steps that, yes, we want people to continue coming so that we can continue building operational readiness, but we're also reducing the chances of us transmitting this disease as much as possible.
So what does this mean for people going Oconus and for all you non-military types out there? That means outside of the United States. What does that mean? So I got orders sending me to Korea or Germany. Is this outside of the United States factor? Is that going to cause a problem?
Not necessarily. It's just it's a matter of us contacting Stuttgart. If you're going to Stuttgart and you're part of First Cav will help develop this exception to policy request for you. And they'll reach out to Stuttgart and they'll say, hey, we've got Sergeant so-and-so who has family coming with him, planning on living on post. Can you guys receive? And at that point in time, that location will say, you know what? Yep, we're facilitating our own personnel departing. We will have facilities on post to receive this family, and they will be able to move into on-post housing like they expect to. And so we agree we'll take this person. And that coordination happens while the ETP is being submitted higher to whatever approval authority exists, depending on, it's COVID-19 dependent. Right now, the lowest is the GO and the SES. But once that's approved and that unit says, yes, we're willing to take, it gets signed and those people are allowed to do everything they need to do to set conditions to move.
All right. So that leads right into my next question. And this is the biggie, all right, for me. So you've got the ability to move people. Yes, we want you to move. Yes, we want you to come here. Okay, thumbs up all the way around. But moving people is more than just a yes and a yes. There's a whole lot of logistics that go into it.
Yes.
So where are we logistic-wise?
Oh, yeah.
And thanks for asking that. So we recognize that there are more people who will be ready to move than we have logistics to support them moving. And so Fort Hood, as the perfect example, can move maximum capacity, 1,476 people per month. And I mean people as in individual families moving.
A family unit.
Yep, absolutely. But just the amount of people impacted from this stop move since the 13th of March to now exceeds 3,000.
Right.
And so we know that we're not going to have enough logistics assets to move everyone on the timeline that they want to move. And so how do you prioritize that? Because everyone's going to want to go and start their life at their next duty location. We know that. And so we've kind of developed some plans, crunched some numbers, and figured some things out. There's some people who have to be prioritized first. We know if you're getting out of the Army, you have got to be allowed to go. That's the given. And if you are going to key or critical billets as defined by the Army right now, that also has to be something that's allowed to go on the first ticket out, I guess, if I were to put it that way.
All right.
And so those include people who are going to brigade or battalion command, and those command sergeant majors who are also going to go to brigade or battalion command. The people who are going to their, we call it PME, but it's primary military education. And so if you're PCSing to your Captain's Career Course or ILE, that's one of those. They'll be one of the first ones to go because they have hard dates that they have to start school.
Sure.
People who are going to drill sergeant in recruiting, because that is a generating force. The Army stops building soldiers if they don't have them. Those guys that are going to senior service college, again, the hard date for the start of the school already exists. They've got to be allowed to go. And then those soldiers who re-enlisted specifically to PCS somewhere else, because their position is tied to a requisition that's also attached to a date. And so we can't keep them.
It's in the contract.
Absolutely.
Contractual.
Absolutely. And so everyone else falls into what you would call an operational category.
All right.
And that's the majority of people.
Sure.
Falls into that operational category. And so taking a look at that bucket of people that needs to be allowed to go, how then do we figure out who needs to be first? And so lots of variables exist. Do they have school-aged kids? Because we're going to want them to be able to go as soon as possible to get their kids in place for school.
Right.
So that's one of many things that we're looking at. The next big ticket items are, what's your unit going through right now? Because if it's net NEF, they need people to receive the equipment, to train on it, to set it. And if they're deploying, they need to get new folks in. And so it's this very difficult dance of how much barrack space do we have, how much on-post housing do we have, how much off-post housing do we have, and can we receive, because we can't receive it all without giving some away. And so that's where we're trying to find the right balance to prioritize personnel who are all going to want to leave.
This is a question for all of us government service employees out there. What's that mean for civilians, though? Is it the same boat, or is it different?
No, it's different. My understanding for civilians is completely different. I might be wrong.
That's
just
okay.
it. I'm not paying attention to the DA civilian aspect of it, but their moving falls under different categories. And something that I wanted to throw in there, which is what applies to most DA civilians, I think, is what we would consider a PPM, a personally procured move.
Okay.
And so, although we're limited to 1,476 people to move on any given month, that's the max. We're not limited to the number of people who can personally procure their own move.
So that means packing up the truck and moving to Beverly.
Yes. If we have soldiers who don't fall into those main priorities that the Army has set, but they still want to move on their current timeline, they can. They just have to do it in a PPM.
All right, so that's buying boxes, packing up stuff, getting a U-Haul, doing it, and then
sayonara.
Yes. And so if we can maximize the number of people who are using PPM, it'll really, really help lessen the load on those people who are stuck here longer. And so I would encourage anyone who wants to take off, definitely look at that as an option.
In last month's town hall, General Eflin alluded to it. He had his crystal ball out talking about the backlog. And he said at that time, they expected a 7-month backlog to get everybody that's supposed to PCS during this peak PCS season moved out. Is that about right still?
No, it's right. It's right. So if we're just looking at people using the logistics assets that exist, and we limit ourselves to the 1,476 people who can move on any given month, that's both inbound and outbound. Remember that dance we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
You have to have barracks, and you've got to have housing available. Well, you can't do that unless you open barracks and housing up.
Sure.
Which means people have to be allowed to move out. But people also have to move in because we have operational requirements, right? So if we only use the logistics assets through AFSBN that exist, it will be March before we are done.
Right.
But if you have people, even 350 individuals choosing to use PPM a month,
Sure.
we'll be done before January.
Well, there you go.
And so that's just it. Like if you want to leave and you want to leave on the timeline that you've got, you can do that. But it's not going to be necessarily in a traditional way where someone comes and packs up your stuff. A lot of it's going to have to be that personally procured move. Now, on the bright side, Big Army has incentivized. In previous years, they had reduced the amount of money you could get back to, it's like 90% or 95% of what they would have contracted.
Right.
And now it's a 100%. Like what they would have paid on a government contract to move you, they're willing to reimburse soldiers to move themselves.
Wow. That's a good deal.
That is a good deal.
Especially if you're chomping at the bit to get to your new duty station. But this isn't something that's happening right now. This is something that's still in the works. That's
Yes.
coming down the pipeline.
Sure.
So when this does hit, when finally people are given the A-OK, 100%, all right, everybody's ready to move out, who do they need to talk to if you wanted to do that?
So the process, ironically, is the same. Because everyone still requires an ETP, all conditions based, all conditions dependent. When you're doing that and you get that ETP approved, as you go to schedule your household goods, one of the boxes you check is whether or not you want to do a PPM. And at that point in time, you're basically saying, hey, I will move myself, and they'll have a bunch of information. You'll have to go into the household goods office at the Copeland Center, and they'll walk you through it. But that's where you would start this process.
Well, it sounds easy enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pain to move, let's be honest. But it's a pain whether the government's moving you or whether you're moving you.
And that's a true story.
There is another option on this paper. That would be below PPM. It says, consider a PCS deletion or deferment.
Yes.
How much do you think folks are going to bite for that?
Well, it all depends, right? So how much do they like the unit that they're in, and how
Right.
much do they like the area? There are some people who do not want to leave Fort Hood at all.
Right.
And there's some people that are chomping at the bit to go. And so how do we incentivize keeping people? Because we're busy, right? And everyone loves great soldiers and keeping those soldiers who know what's going on. So in terms of what the units are doing to look at potentially maximizing those soldiers to stay, I don't know, every single unit is different. And those retention NCOs I know have been handed this task to try and talk to those soldiers about maybe staying a little bit longer. But the COVID-19 dependent deferments allow you to defer between 90 to 120 days. So that's basically saying, hey, Big Army, I just need a little bit more time because of all the stuff that's going on. Either I have an immunocompromised family member that I'm not comfortable moving right now, or because we've been slowed down so much and I know that I'm not going to be a priority, I'd like to move my report date so that I don't have to worry about the administrivia later on. And they can facilitate that. That's an easy 4187 DA. It's a Army form. I'm a AG nerd. So, but it's simple to your battalion S1 who will send it to HRC, your career manager, say, hey, can we just move this person's report date 90 or 120 days to the right? And then the deletion is up to a 1 year deletion. And so instead of moving this summer, they'd be moving next summer. And there's some who maybe really jump at that because their unit's deploying and they want to deploy with them. You've worked hard and you've established this team. And so they want to stay with the team as much as possible and maybe go out the door with them. And they have that opportunity, or they were maybe going to a unit that was going to deploy and they're not feeling that as much. So requesting that deletion, they are well within their rights to do so. Same process. They fill out a DA 4187 to request a deletion, COVID-19 specific, and they submit that through their battalion S1 to HRC and their career managers.
But if you request the deletion, is it a guaranteed deletion or is it we'll see? Because there's still needs of the Army.
Yes, it's one of those, we'll see. So we've had people who are coming here who've requested deferments, but they've requested deferments for units that just don't have the timeline to support. And the same goes with the deletion because they are uncomfortable leaving their families, but specific circumstances, all needs of the Army, they just happen to be coming to a unit where they're allowed to stabilize their family in place, they don't have to move them in this case. And so we recommended non-concur, but it's all about Big Army and what Big Army needs. Because if they want to stabilize this person, even though we have a need, then Big Army will have to find someone else to come down here and fill that need.
Sure.
And so it's all about a balancing act in this weird dance of personnel.
Goes back to it never hurts to ask.
That's true.
Also
Right.
true.
Well, sometimes.
The worst they can do is
Yeah.
say no.
Yeah, exactly. Ma'am, what else? What do you think is the most important takeaway that folks should have from the stop movement here at Fort Hood?
I know the frustration is there. And so the biggest takeaway for me is just a continued patience. There are so many changes that are happening, and they're all coming very rapid paced. We're on like ALAR Act number 45, which is a Big Army message, number 45 on COVID-19.
Sure.
And HQDA has published 29 fragmentary orders on COVID-19.
Right.
And so everyone's trying the best they can with the information that they have. And sometimes information is not as fast as we would like, but we're all here to help. And any way, shape, or form that we can be of assistance, please don't hesitate. Reach out.
So the floodgates are opening, but it'll be a trickle at first.
Yep.
Right?
It's a controlled floodgate.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a process, just like
Yeah.
every Army thing. It's a process. When do you think, if you can guesstimate?
Yeah, it's a great point. My hope is immediately, because what people are operating on is the old information of 30 June, right? And so it probably hasn't trickled down fast enough that people can request their ETPs to move now, based on the fact that this is conditions based in death.
Wow.
And the longer we wait for people to make the request, the more we're not maximizing logistics assets that exist. And so if people want to move now and they've got the orders to move now, make the request. The worst they can do is say no.
Well, you hear that? If you want to
you go.
move right now, if you got orders and you want to be wherever you're going, get the paperwork in. The clock is ticking. You could be out of here before you know it. Saying goodbye to Whataburger, saying goodbye to Bucky's. Dave's turning all shades of red because I'm naming names on here.
Brand names.
But all those Central Texas things you know and love, and a lot of them that you haven't been able to go to for the last 3 months.
And just remember, as long as they pursue or are willing to pursue that personally procured move, the sky's the limit.
Wow.
You can't drive to Korea.
No, you can't. You can
cannot
try,
drive.
though. That would be entertaining.
There are some limitations.
That would be
Good call.
entertaining.
Well, Major Chipman, thank you for coming by.
Thanks for the time, guys. I really
And
appreciate it.
it's interesting times, isn't it?
It's an opportunity to excel and exceed expectations every single day.
That is a fantastic attitude. I'm going to borrow some of that.
Flurmit the Sock here for the Thrift Savings Spam. Is it meat? Who knows?
Cut.
What?
Flurmit, baby, look at this script. It clearly says thrift savings plan.
Oh, yeah.
It's about saving money, not lunch meat.
Not
Let's try
lunch.
this again.
Thanks, Steve. Flurmit the Sock here for the Thrift Savings Plan.
Got it, baby.
Soldiers and DoD civilians, listen up. Are you socking away a little bit of money each month in your TSP? What? You're not? They call me crazy. The Thrift Savings Plan is a great way to make sure that you've got the supplemental income you need when you get old and wrinkly. Plus, the government can match up to 5% of your contribution. That's a free money. Make it rain, Uncle Sam. Make it rain. So look out for your future and sock some money away in the Thrift Savings Plan account. Visit www.tsp.gov for more information. You can retire like an ex-prince moving to LA, or in my case, his wife.
That's a wrap.
Fort Hood's great big podcast. Factual, fantastical, frilly, and fun.
Personally procured movement.
PPM.
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 Not when I run to the bathroom. Personally procured.
PP movement.
PP movement.
PP movement.
Ah, that's us elevating the topics of the day.
Yep. Well, poop starts with P.
That's right. Oh, it does. Oh.
Wow.
You learn more here
Mind
by
blown.
accident than you do other places by design.
Yeah, potty humor.
And you were
always
better
works,
for
too.
it.
I ripped that off.
All right, enough potty humor.
All right. Well, no, I have a sense it will come back. That was really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
People don't think about it, that moving is more than just getting the ticket. Hey, you got a new assignment at this place. Here's a ticket. Go off. All the machinations that have to go through paperwork, through this office, through that office, through the other office, on this end, on where you're going. And then beyond that, they've got to make arrangements for somebody to come get your stuff, pack up your stuff. Then that goes in a vehicle, and then it gets all put in pallets and boxed up, and then that goes into a vehicle, and it goes to a ship somewhere. This is for an overseas move,
Right.
and gets shipped off there or here. A moving company takes it. It's where there's a line in one place, there's a line in other places.
Oh, yeah.
Longer. So, and no one's, come on, let's be honest. This is the government. No one's rushing this.
No.
No one is rushing this.
Yeah.
So, wow. Whatever the future holds, I think it's going to be interesting. And that way, just think about it. You'll be at a point in your life where you'll be able to tell somebody, what, they're moving you right away? Why, when I was a specialist, it took me 7 months to get from Fort Hood to Lewis McCord.
You could never leave the cab.
No, you can never leave the cab. That's what that line is across the patch.
No.
No, you're not
No,
leaving.
no.
You're not leaving. You're staying.
First team.
Yeah. Ooh-ah.
Living the legend.
Ooh-ah. So we've all done moves.
Yep.
We've done moves. I've moved overseas. Here's my Army moving experience. Ready? So I enlist in Minnesota.
Right.
They send me to Texas, which is right straight down 35.
I keep telling you that one doesn't count. That's the duffel bag drive.
But it's still. So I moved my duffel bags.
He had nothing.
That was my. I moved that myself to here.
Yeah.
Right. So straight south. Then I moved. My next duty station was in Yokota Air Base in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved me overseas. Then I lived in Japan. I had to move myself to Camp Zama.
Right.
Because I became a government worker. So that was a PPM?
I don't know.
PMM?
A ditty.
Personal procured movement.
A P Diddy move of my own. And that cost $10,000, by the way, to get
Oh my
myself to move and get
goodness.
set up. Yeah. So, but then the Army moved me again from Japan back to Fort Hood. So, in
Full
actuality,
circle
I've
moment.
only ever moved from Fort Hood to Japan.
And
from
back.
Japan back to Fort Hood.
Oh, man.
What about you, Brianna Dew?
I PCS'd, well, his Minnesota to Texas was similar to my
Right.
Texas to Kansas
Right.
because I enlisted actually I enlisted in Oklahoma. I went through MEPS there, but went out of Texas.
They don't have a good MEP station around here?
They do south, but I'm so north. Like I'm
Oh, weird.
I'm 30 minutes from the border of Oklahoma. So
St. Paul, Minneapolis has just a MEP station, just a building there at Fort Snelling. You just boop.
there is one down like in this area, but that's like 4.5 hours away
Okay.
from
Mm-hmm.
my hometown. But I PCS from Kansas to Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and then Korea to Japan, and Japan to Hood
Wow.
3 times, and they've all been stressful.
And the military's moved your stuff?
The military has moved my stuff. Yes.
What about-
And,
Dave?
Oh, you want 27 years worth?
Yeah, let's go.
let's go.
We got time.
Okay, let's
we
see.
got time.
Basic. Forget all the schooling and all that. All right. So first duty assignment was Fort Shafter, Hawaii.
Yes.
And then I got out. So
All right. Well, that was
Okay.
easy. Now, Brianna,
there you go.
then you came back.
Breaking service, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't let a good thing go to waste.
Yeah, going broke, going to college. Come back, Europe.
Oh, nice.
And I basically stayed in Europe I was in Belgium for 2 tours.
Nice.
Deployed a lot from around there. Then I went to Frankfurt, Germany. Then I went to, Tuzla, Bosnia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Fort Bragg. No, it was Bragg, then Tuzla. Yeah, I actually PCS'd to a deployed location. They called it a TCS.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I did.
TCS.
Yeah, I did a year. Temporary change of station.
Did it come with Vaseline?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was from Bragg. They gave me orders. I was supposed to go to Uijeongbu, Korea.
Ah, yeah.
And they
Good
said,
place.
yeah, we really need you over here instead. And I went, okay, whatever.
And they moved your stuff for 1 year?
No, they moved the family back to Wisconsin while I was
Okay, I was about to say.
deployed.
I was like, it doesn't. I wouldn't think they would pay.
Did they
for
pay
that.
housing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Paid the move, paid the house. And then, yeah.
Oh, I had one more move too.
Uh-oh.
I forgot. Sorry.
Yes.
You go ahead.
No.
I did move in Japan. I had the government move me to 2 different barracks rooms because I had to prove that I had a medical condition.
Wait. The
Yeah.
government moved you to 2 different barracks rooms.
Yeah.
You couldn't move yourself.
No, I couldn't.
My tax dollars paid to move you to a
Down the street.
oh Lord.
I forgot about that one. Yeah. Well, it's because I like submitted paperwork that I had my nerve condition and that I couldn't lift stuff. It took them 8 months to process it, the paperwork, because it had to go through Korea, but they filed it in Japan. Oh, so it went from Japan to Korea and then Korea to the U.S., then from the U.S. back to Korea and Korea back to Japan.
Wow.
And then they moved me. They hired a company and moved my stuff.
You couldn't have said to your battle buddies, hey, can you help me move? I'm going to an God bless it.
They don't care about
God
single
bless
soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Back to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
back to me.
back
Yeah.
to you,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm in Tuzla.
Mhm.
Come back from Tuzla, and we pick up the family and go to Belgium.
Oh, what? Man, you just love Germany.
Belgium's
Germany and
not
Belgium.
Germany.
Sorry,
She said,
that's what I meant.
You just loved it.
I realized it. I'm sorry. I'm sleepy. I realized as soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, this is wrong.
I speak French and Flemish
I didn't sleep well last night.
But, and then it was Hood. And
Oh, man.
You've been here a long time.
off to the Cav, yeah. My last 6 years active was here.
Oh, 6.
6 years.
Oh.
2 tours to
Too long.
Iraq, Hurricane Katrina,
Oh.
earthquakes in Pakistan. What else?
And you did a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And he did a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mid-tour replacement in my first deployment to Iraq.
Wow.
OAF-2.
I'm hungry.
That's when we crossed paths the first time.
Yeah.
And he was
I
doing
forget how long you guys have known each other.
And he was doing the duffel bag drag there too. And I made him do a TV story about it.
Aw,
Newly arrived to Iraq.
nice.
He did. I dumped out a duffel bag in the camera lens.
Yep.
I did.
That's cool.
Let's find out what people think about Iraq. What did I ask? I asked something about stuff.
Nobody in this room has done a do-it-yourself move. Because mine have always been overseas and back.
Well, the one from Kitamoto, Japan, to my job in Camp Zama was a do-it-yourself. We had to...
But that was on your own dime, the Army.
Yeah, there was no reimbursement.
That was just, hey, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I wanted the job, I could have stayed there and just commuted 2.5 hours to work every day.
Yeah.
Yikes. 2.5?
Yeah, by train.
Oh, it's not as bad by
Different
train.
prefecture. From Saitama Prefecture to Kanagawa Prefecture.
That's too far. Saitama?
It is a haul.
That's expensive too.
Yeah, it was. It would have been like $30 a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the cheap train.
Yeah.
It's not even the fast, expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. No, thanks.
But no, I guess nobody's ever done one for the military per se, where you turn in paperwork when you're done and they reimburse you.
Yep.
So it's so good now, though, that they're doing the whole 100% reimbursement. If I was moving somewhere in the U.S., I'd be doing it myself. I mean, moving horror stories.
Right.
You know, the feeling of if the military moves you, what's going to get broken? What's not going to work?
Right.
When I arrive, you've got so much more control over that because you're packing your own stuff, so you can be as careful with it, use as much packing material as you want. Not that the companies aren't careful, but there is a difference when it's your own stuff.
Sure.
And then time is on your side. You have more control over that. And it's just about more control. And especially now with this backlog, you're able to say, you know what, I God bless you, Central Texas. You've been so good to me, but now it's time to see scenic other place that's not across an ocean. Fort Bliss.
Oh, that's across the state. You know,
Yeah.
That's a drive.
Yeah.
That's a drive.
10 hours,
It's a little
right?
hike.
10, 12 hours.
Yeah, and the military would move you to Bliss from here.
Yep.
It'd be sort of a, gee, how'd you get those orders?
Drop in the hat there.
Close to your old stomping grounds, Fort Riley, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Huh? You were there. That's right.
You don't like Riley?
No.
Why not?
It
Dish the dirt on Fort Riley. Fort Hood exposing Fort Riley.
Come on, you were part of the bro.
I was.
Big red one.
Really?
I was part of the duty first.
They were the best in the 70s with Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench and Pete Rose.
The bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a lot of big red wonderful days.
Lee Marvin was really great in that movie too. Big red one. You never saw that one either,
No,
did you?
I'm not.
Man,
No,
she
she
served
lived it.
in
I
it.
didn't.
She lived it.
I
She
didn't. Yeah. I did it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why does the big red one, because I'm looking at your combat patch, why does the big red one patch, why is the one black?
So we only wear the red ones when there's ceremonies.
Shouldn't it just be red all the time?
It used to be, but they change it like
It should be
all the time.
called the big red occasional one.
Yeah.
It should
Occasionally red one.
Well, because when I first got there, everyone wore all the red, and then they changed it to only ceremonial units could wear it. So we still could wear it.
And then the calf goes, you
And
call
then-
that big?
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. But I do have a lot. I have so many, and that's the thing is I'd have so many variations because the color of the red was different when you were deployed also. So I have like 6 different patches. Yeah.
We had a patch when we remember the combat patch for the Cav.
Yeah.
First time around in Iraq was actually reversed. So
For the
What?
right shoulder. Because if you put that one on your right shoulder, which way is the horse facing?
The right.
No, it's
The
facing
opposite way.
It's facing backwards.
Oh, yeah.
See, when you got it on your
left side.
left side,
Mm-hmm.
the horse head faces forward.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh.
our CG at the time said, "No, I want them both facing forward." So it was like mirror image.
Oh, that's confusing.
So they
Yeah.
had them specially made.
Had them specially
wow.
made
And
in
you
Iraq.
have some?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so then we all got back
That's
to the.
cool. I want to see that.
We
So if you were a calf sandwich, both of your horses face forward.
Wow. Can y'all like maybe upload a picture of that? I
Sure.
think that'd be really cool. I've
Or
never
I'll
even
just
heard of
take
this.
a calf patch and reverse it. But
It
the
just confused everybody though.
well, yeah. And then when we got back to the States, it was
Oh yeah, we got
a week
busted
before they
up.
were like, "No, that's not authorized."
you got to lose
Oh
those.
no.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's
we,
like
we were wearing them
unique.
in country.
Yeah.
You know, and then
we
they
had
were like,
we had ones like that too.
they
Like
gotta go.
special color ones that we could only wear over there.
Yep.
So many different patches.
I know. But why don't you like what's up with Riley?
I didn't really like the area.
You know, keep in mind, I am from Kansas.
Yeah. I
So-
didn't, I wasn't into it.
What didn't you like about the area specialist Brianna do?
It was so everything was so spaced out. It took forever to
Wait,
get
this is
anywhere.
somebody for Texan
Yes.
saying this.
Yeah.
Texas is infinitely larger than
Yeah, but there's
Kansas.
still stuff like you can go to a town and everything you need is still within like 10, 15 minutes.
You're such a millennial. Such a millennial.
Well, and also the thing, I didn't have any money, right? So I just joined, And like I would have loved to like, go to Kansas City or even like Salina or which wasn't even that interesting.
Salina.
Yeah. That was where I could afford to go. They had the chocolate factory
Or
there.
the Wizard of Oz
Salina.
Museum, you know?
Yeah, I did go there. What's that? Topeka. I went to Topeka. But it was so
Ooh,
expensive. Like
Topeka?
yeah,
These
for
are-
me to go there.
These are words I've never heard together in my entire life before. Topeka and expensive.
It was because like the drive out there, spending the day, getting lunch, dinner, going back. I didn't have the money to do that. Like I could maybe do it like once every 6 months. So I had a car payment.
Wow. And this is from somebody that just got done serving in Japan, telling me how expensive Topeka, Kansas is.
Yeah.
It's
It's all relative,
for
though.
I guess.
Yeah, a 20-year-old.
No, all my relatives are in Hutchinson or Wichita.
For a 20-year-old with no money. Because when you're in Japan, they pay you more.
That's true.
You get cost of living assistance.
And the dollar to yen rate.
Yeah,
You got
it's a
that
little
in
bit
your
better,
favor.
yeah.
Although when I got to Japan with AFN, it was a week. The dollar to yen rate was favorable for a week, and then it's the worst it has ever been in the history of U.S.-Japan relations for the entire time I was with the military. Soon as I got out, boom, back to being favorable again.
I think that means
Like
you were the problem.
Yeah, that was me.
I
That
think
was
it was
on
you.
me.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
That was on me. But Topeka expensive. God, that's
It
so
was.
mind-blowing.
As a 20-year-old, mind you, with a car payment and paying off other things.
Mm-hmm. You know, you were close to college cities. And those college towns, they got stuff for people your age.
I don't like to do stuff that college
The
people
Little
like to
Apple,
do.
Manhattan, Kansas,
No.
where everything's purple.
No. I actually refused to wear purple for a long time because of that.
Just
Now-
because, just
now
to
I like
spite
it.
Manhattan.
Yes, I literally did. I did.
Wow, that's...
I mean, the college town was cool, but it was like, just I didn't really enjoy it.
Not a K-State fan. Wow.
No.
My cousin went to college in K-State.
I know a lot of people that went there, actually. They have a decent music program.
So what are your feelings for the Fort Hood, Killeen, Coppers Cove, Temple area, if that was your feeling about Kansas?
Go. Remember, you're sticking around a while.
Yeah. It's better than Kansas, I'll say. But I think I'm in a
Really?
better place now. Like I have more money and a little more
okay.
established, and I kind of know what I'm doing. And the thing, it was so stressful being in Kansas for me. Like, I still don't know what to expect of the Army. I don't know what I don't know what I'm going to do in my job, or if I'm going to be successful, or if people will like me. So it was like, and I was still trying to figure out my personality. It was my first time being on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I was just going through major life changes.
But every day you could have woken up, looked outside, taken a deep breath and said, by God, at least I'm in Kansas.
No.
Tap your
'Cause
heels together
'cause
3
the
times. I
barracks
mean,
were
come
so
on.
Well, you're still
ugly.
there. 'Cause you're-
Yeah.
Exactly.
The barracks I was in were haunted too. So
Oh, that's cool. Tell us a story,
It
Brianna.
was-
Tell
no.
us a haunted story.
well, I have so many.
Well,
Okay, so I lived on the top floor, and I swear and it wasn't just me. Other people on the top floor, we would hear footprints, like people
Wait,
walking on the
I think
roof.
you mean footsteps.
Footsteps, yes, that's what I meant. We would hear footsteps on the roof all the time. And I also, for about a year, I didn't have a roommate, and the door is locked, right? So not even I had access to the separate room, and we shared a common room. So I could see the door, couldn't open it, and it was just me. But I swear, I would hear the furniture moving around in there, like at least once a week. Like I would hear like a drawer opening and closing, and then something like I would hear like the sound of like furniture moving across the floor, and then I would hear like taps coming from I would hear knocks on the wall. It was legit like haunted.
I have a ghost story. So I watched the Ghost Adventures show, or I did. I've sort of fallen off, but
Okay.
Ghost Adventures are 3 guys that go with cameras and lock themselves inside a haunted house
Okay.
and try to communicate with the dead. They've got infrared cameras. They've got tape recorders that they ask questions and then pause and then play it back to try to hear spirit voices on the
Yeah, pick
the
up
tape, because
things.
for some reason ghosts are recorded on tapes but can't be heard. All right, let's not logic this. Anyway, so I watch those shows, and I'm on my honeymoon with my wife in Colorado, and we're in Box Canyon in Colorado at Ouray. And they have this grand old hotel, and it's way off season, so it's completely empty. Mm-hmm. So they give me a super crazy deal on a room on one of their suites. Mm-hmm. And if you can imagine, it's a restored Victorian era suite, absolutely gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And they even told me that this particular suite is on call for Oprah Winfrey. It's where she stays when she's in town. So she's got a deposit on it all the time. She wants, they got to boot me because Oprah's in town. So I asked them, I said, so you're an old hotel. Do you have any ghost problems? And they told me a ghost story about a woman who supposedly walks around on the third floor, which is where we were. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And so that night, wife and I go to bed. And at some point in the night, I wake up. I don't know why, but I'm like wide awake. And I think, well, since I'm up and it's the middle of the night, I'll do a little ghost investigation. So I take my phone and I sit down and I hit record. And I start asking questions, just like I've seen on the Ghost Adventures show. Okay. Mm-hmm. Who are you? What is your name? Why are you here? What happened to you? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And I go back and listen to my recording, hold it up to my ear, so I'm really straining, turn up the volume, but not enough I don't want to wake the wife. And I hear myself asking the questions, who are you? Why are you here? And I hear something very faintly in there, and I'm like, hair is standing on end. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
That's back when you had hair.
Yeah, well, on my arms, on my arms. So anyway, I'm just like freaked out. Gosh. Oh, right. I'm talking to that. Do this again. Who are you? I'm asking questions. Going back, I'm hearing it again, but I really can't make out what's being said. So I'm really kind of freaking out internally at this time. And I try it one more time, and that's when I realize, really straining while I'm talking, I'm just recording my wife snoring. There's no ghost. It's just my wife.
That was not a ghost story.
It was. There was a ghost involved.
There's no ghost.
There was a ghost involved. Mm-hmm. You want a real ghost story?
What?
So when I was a little kid, my mom and I lived in this old house on Oliver Street in, was it Oliver? No, St. Clair. St. Clair. We moved from Oliver Street to St. Clair. I'm a little kid. This is 81. Mm-hmm. All right? Little 6-year-old Charlie. And my mom wanted me to clean my room. And I didn't want to clean the room. Mm-hmm. And I left the room to argue with the mother. I lost the argument. I went into the room, and a music box that my great-grandmother had given me, which was quite heavy, made of solid wood, was floating midair and fell to the ground as soon as I entered the room. Scared the heck out of me.
I just got goosebumps.
Mm-hmm. That's a true...
How old were you? 6?
6.
Wow.
6. Weird stuff would happen in that house.
Did you tell anybody?
Yeah, I told my mom.
What'd she say?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but I do know that it was one of those places that my mom and a grown adult woman felt extremely apprehensive just in going into the basement. And this place, just a weird vibe. And we didn't stay in that place long.
I bet.
Yeah.
We were gone pretty
Definitely something was there.
Wow.
Dave, do you have any ghost stories?
Nope.
Oh.
Ooh, that was exciting.
Sorry.
That was exciting.
I have a lot of ghost experiences. I actually grew up in a haunted house.
Did you?
Yeah, we had to move because of it. It was really bad. We tried to, we had our pastor come and people in the church try to exorcise the house, and it made it like 3 times worse.
Wow. My mother's side of the family had a haunted house that somebody would walk up and down the stairs.
Yeah,
There'd be
we had
people
that.
watching them sleep. Weird stuff like that.
It was constant. Like, it was a nightmare living there. Like anything electronic would always mess up. Like our baby toys would go off all night long. Like we would take the batteries out and they would still go off.
Wow.
Our TV would turn on at full volume, like, and you never have a TV all the way up, right? But I mean, our TV would turn on like.
So not only did you have ghosts, they were hard of hearing.
I mean, anything. Our microwave, anything electronic would go off randomly, like all the time. Like just the normal stuff. Like we'd hear footsteps and like you could kind of like feel something, and like I'd see stuff out of the corner of my eyes, and there were more things that I won't super get into, but it was a lot. All
the better reason to PCS.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to get out of that haunted house fast, do that Diddy move.
Yeah.
100%. See how I brought that full circle?
Nobody uses Diddy anymore, supposedly.
PMM move.
I've never. I still call
PPM.
PPM move.
It sounds so weird.
Doesn't it? It should
Yeah,
be Diddy.
it kinda
Should just
sounds-
be Diddy.
Yeah.
You've been in the Army how many years?
9.
9 years.
Yeah.
What, they must have changed that recently then.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I still know it as a
I
TV.
think they're just trying to change it. It's one of those, somebody had a good idea. We should call it this, and so they're throwing it out
Yeah.
there, but
I think P. Diddy works better.
I like P. Diddy.
Yeah, P.
Isn't that
Diddy.
personal.
It's got a groove.
Personal Diddy
Do
move.
it
It's got
yourself.
a rhythm. Yeah, personal Diddy move.
Doing the P. Diddy move.
We should submit that.
All right, now we've run this into the ground. So,
Really?
yeah. So we'll be back with a final segment, final thoughts, right after these messages. Thank you for staying with us all this time. No, seriously, thank you. Pat yourself on the back if you can do that. We'll be right back.
Hey golfers, are you looking for a new course to play? The Courses of Clear Creek is a 27-hole course with challenging greens located in the scenic rolling hills of Fort Hood. With a 300-yard driving range, 2 putting greens, and a 4-hole kids course, we're the premier golf course in Central Texas. Our pro shop is always stocked with the latest golfing equipment and name brand apparel, while our beautiful pavilion overlooking the course is a great place to enjoy a cold beverage. The Courses of Clear Creek, open to the public, offering annual, monthly, and summer membership packages. Give us a call today at 254-287-4130 or find us on the web at hood.armymwr.com.
Coming on strong on a Monday. I feel so low. Won't be long.
You know, when I think of toilet plume, I think of an A-bomb going off. That's what I see in my head, is that mushroom cloud coming out of a toilet. It's here to get you. Fall out. I never ever should have brought that to the podcast because it is forever going to be on my mind now. Anytime I enter in a bathroom.
Do you close the lid at home now?
Absolutely.
And you still don't go here?
I try not to. Sometimes there are emergencies, but I try not to. And when I do my business in a military facility.
You got the door open.
I do. I've got the thing
on the plunger,
and it's the
Hit it.
flush and run. Lord help anybody that's on the other side of that door.
Just gonna tackle them.
Yeah, but think about it. That study, right,
Mm-hmm.
was like late 70s or something like that. And toilets don't have the power like they used to back in the day. What are they, 1 gallon flush now, or most of them?
Yeah, that takes a couple. I don't stick around to find out.
No, but I mean, I remember when I was a kid, man, you could flush anything down the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were powerful.
Yeah.
They were powerful. It was during the Clinton administration that the new toilet rule. That's serious. The new rules came out, and I can remember that because at that time, I was in high school, but I had a class that was away from the high school, so I had to drive. I had to drive from point A to point B. Crikey. I had to drive from point A to point B. And I would listen to talk radio, and Rush Limbaugh was on at the time. And the fact that the Clinton administration was going to change over toilets was a point of consternation for Rush. It upset him greatly.
It sounded like you said constipation.
No, it might have been. He sounds constipated sometimes, but it was a hot button topic.
Well, has it been proven though that because I know they found COVID-19 in In feces, but is it actually transmittable from it, or is it just
sure.
the strain?
Sure. Well, first off, you shouldn't have feces in your hand.
Well,
right. No mud pies.
No mud pie. Yeah. It protects the skin from sun.
Ew.
But yeah, it's transmittable.
And it will
from
definitely ensure social distancing.
Yes. Don't you remember?
That's true.
Remember the fart study?
Hey, Stinky, stay over there.
The fart study. It'll come out there. It'll propel itself through the air to the olfactory senses.
I was flushing, or I was closing my toilet lid before that study came out because I knew about the dispersal.
Well, I would say I wasn't not closing it, but it wasn't.
It wasn't on your mind, like it is now.
No, if it was up, if it was down,
Okay.
You know.
What would you say your ratio was?
Probably 50-50.
Okay.
50-50, depending if I was visiting somebody's house.
She lives on her own, so she doesn't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And boyfriend's in Japan, so fiance's in Japan, so she doesn't have to worry about this. Do you leave the seat up?
I try not to. I try. Well, no, because I'm closing the lid now all the time.
There you go.
It's all.
What if it's a conspiracy to get the guys to close the lid?
Oh my gosh!
I bet.
What?
Yeah.
My mind is boggled. You have.
Well, let's see who wrote that study. Was it a woman?
It was.
Oh.
This
goes deeper.
Yeah, this needs further investigation.
Let's plunge deeper.
Toilet plume might be a hoax.
Exactly.
Just a social
Just
experiment.
to get guys to put the seat down for their ladies.
We're onto something here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
We're exposing them.
Conspiracy theory.
All right. I was seriously, I'm not saying anything that I'm speechless because it makes so much sense now. It has, like, all the puzzle pieces are falling into place. How could I have been so blind?
Exactly.
They were manipulating my heart.
You had an epiphany.
Yep. From now on, toilet seats up all the time. All the time.
Toilet plume away, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, I think that's a good ending point for all of this.
Yeah, I think so too.
While we investigate further. What a show it's been.
Yep.
Huh? From the beginning through the middle and now to the end, we've been to all the parts. All of them. Brianna, your thoughts on that?
It was a good time.
Oh, great. Dave?
Another week.
Just moving on to the next one.
That's right.
Yeah.
What will happen next week? You never can tell.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, drive safe. Live life.
Put the seat down.
Eat.
Or not.
Or not.
Yep, or not.
No.
Don't let them control your mind. That's what I got for you. Don't let them control your mind. And we'll see you next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel.
Bye.
When